Hi everyone, this is Erica from Gokce Capital. Today we're going to go over the top 5 things to know before buying land in Florida. And today's video includes contributions by Mike Ferreira from Mike Sells Land. So the first thing to take note of would be environmental issues. And this is predominantly about wetlands, but as you can see, there are some other issues that you'll want to look into. I've gone over wetlands and flood zones in some other videos, but when it comes to wetlands, typically you can just check the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. They have a wetlands mapper that'll show you all federally designated wetlands. Although it is always a good idea to also check county GIS maps and county records, or just give the county a call. You also want to know what kind of flood zone the property is in and whether this is going to have any implications for building. To check the flood designation, you can go to FEMA flood maps. Also, county GIS maps will often have flood zones in them, or you could give the county a call. Finally, it's also important to check whether the county has specific environmental flags, such as environmentally sensitive areas or endangered species habitats. Now, these kinds of county-specific flags may be in a county GIS, but as I mentioned with wetlands and flood zones, it's a good idea just to give the county a call and go over any known environmental issues. Very important to check for environmental issues because they almost always have building implications, although it doesn't necessarily mean that the lot is going to be useless. You just want to know how these types of issues are going to impact what you can do on the property and then see whether the lot will still work for you. Okay, another flag for Florida would be empty subdivisions. Now you can kind of get a sense of where these will be by looking at satellite images. If you see an area that was subdivided out or looks like it was subdivided out, it has some kind of road and it looks like there are regular plats, but there are no homes in the area at all, this would be a flag because there are some areas where even though it was legally subdivided and is a subdivision, the county won't actually issue building permits because they are not able to provide any kind of services at this point in time. If there are already homes in the area, you maybe don't need to worry about this so much, but if you see that there are no homes in the surrounding area, probably a good idea to give the county a call and check that you actually would be able to pull a permit. Number 3, access issues. Now in other videos I've gone over access issues as well, but just a few flags for Florida here, although these will apply to other states as well. So first, private roads. In some subdivisions the roads are private. Now this isn't a problem if the roads are privately owned collectively by an HOA or by all property owners, but it's a real problem if the roads are actually owned or a portion of each road is owned by each property owner. So that is to say, there's a physical road, but it actually crosses each property as it goes through the subdivision. If this is, in cases where this happens, there may be easements recorded in the deeds, which will give legal access, but there are some cases where there's just a kind of verbal understanding among all the property owners that everyone has a right to use the road to get to their property. If this is the case and there is no legal access at all, you want to be a bit wary about purchasing the property. And like I said, I have other videos where I go into the specifics of legal access if you want to check those out. Another flag would be non-maintained roads. So sometimes the road actually is public, but it is decayed or unimproved, or just generally not maintained well. If it's a public road, that's not necessarily a game killer or a game changer, as long as you can get to the property and you're still able to pull a building permit. You may be fine with the road not being in the best condition, but it's just a flag that you may need 4x4 to get to the lot, and there may be some building implications if the road is not well maintained. Now, HOAs. And this is the case throughout the country, but it can be hard to check whether there is an HOA in effect in a particular area. So if you're doing your search through county records, it's unlikely that you will find any information on an HOA just by searching for the parcel. Usually you discover whether there's an HOA or not by talking to the seller. Now in Florida, there may not be as many HOAs as in other states, but you just want to keep that in mind, that a parcel could be covered by an HOA, and you want to verify that with the seller. And finally, RV, tiny home, camping restrictions. It's very important to note that in most counties, especially in Florida, you will just not be able to live in an RV, and this kind of a blanket regulation for the county. Not everyone knows this. Sometimes land buyers think that a affordable way to move to Florida would be to buy a cheap parcel of land and bring an RV up and live in an RV. In the vast majority of counties, you are not able to do this. So keep that in mind when you're shopping for land in Florida. And if you have any interest in RVs or tiny homes, it's a really good idea to call the county and make sure that they are allowed. Because I should also note this is not just a restriction on RVs, it would also apply to tiny homes, especially if they are on wheels and they are not on permanent foundations. So if you're looking to buy land specifically to put an RV or a tiny home on it, always check with the county to make sure you can legally do that. Now for land investors, you want to make sure that this is clear. And you may even want to consider, if you are selling properties through owner financing, that you have something in the contract stating that living in an RV or RV use is prohibited. So there you go, top 5 tips for buying land in Florida. A big shout out to Mike Ferreira. Mike buys and sells land exclusively in Florida, so he's an expert on the state. And he also provides affordable owner financing on all of his lots if you are interested in Florida land. And you can check out his website, mikesellsland.com, to see his properties. I'll include a link in the description as well. And quickly, if you're not familiar with us, we are Gokce Capital. We also buy and sell vacant land, and you can check out our properties at gokcecapital.com/listings. When you go to our website, you may also want to look at our giveaways. We love promotions. We have a number of them. Our most popular is our free land giveaway. So that's about it for now. As always, don't hesitate to reach out. You can email, call, or text at any time. And please leave a comment on this video. We are always happy to respond or even to address any questions or comments in an upcoming video. So thank you for listening, and more to come.